It's all about the common good. This astounding little reading is from a book called The Living Water by a Dominican priest, Pierre-Thomas Dehau. It's actually a retreat he gave to nuns. While directed to them, to those living the monastic or religious life, the application to all of us, I think, is apparent. The reading, I think, will speak for itself, so I will jump right in. Once again, herein is the great superiority of our monastic life. But in order to attain its end and be truly profitable, one thing is essential, one thing, simple in itself, but horribly difficult for our human nature. For we are naturally rebellious to community life and to everything that restrains our will. It is that every member of the community consent to do his part, all his part, and nothing but his part. Then and only then will everything be well. Notice how things take place in an orchestra. Sheets of music are distributed upon which are written what each musician must play. If each executes faithfully what he has under his eyes, the concert will be admirable. If, on the other hand, one or another departs from it, discord ensues. Now, in religious life, we are all performers. Each one must keep to his role and play it exactly. This role may not be very agreeable. That matters little. It is regulated for us through obedience. In an orchestra, too, the difficult parts are not equally interesting. There are all sorts of instruments, violins, oboes, flutes. These play almost all the time. But there are also the brass instruments, the trumpets, percussion instruments, which must give but one note or two at long intervals. Those who have these instruments to play have scarcely anything to do but count out the measures. If you watch the paper they have before them, you will find that very curiously enough it is scarcely more than a blank sheet. Nevertheless, if that poor little note, written at such long intervals, is not played exactly, if it should resound a second too soon or too late, even if its tone were most beautiful, there would be cacophony. I admit that it is not very enticing or inviting to have to count out measures indefinitely and to have to follow, without being consulted beforehand, a piece of paper that has been put in your hands. But what does it matter? Each of the musicians knows that in order that the piece may be successful, this inconvenience must be endured. The poor musician does not think of complaining. He says to himself, doubtless, my part is not interesting, but how beautiful the symphony is. In fact, the concert is not for the performers, very poorly placed, moreover, to enjoy it, but for those who listen to it. Our symphony is for the angels, and especially for the Lord of angels. Let us not look to enjoy it here below. No more than the members of an orchestra must we choose our part. Obedience imposes it upon us. The content of the program is of little consequence. Let us not moan or groan if we must play but one or two notes, under pretext that the part is not interesting. Let us content ourselves with disappearing, with keeping in the background. Need I say how absolutely contrary to our nature this is? Every being, in fact, constitutes an entirety, a center of attraction. Each of us has his own personality. We shall never arrive at renouncing ourselves to the point of being only an obscure member of the collective entity. Far from being disposed to lose ourselves in an ensemble, our tendency is, on the contrary, to draw everything to ourselves. And then what adds to our difficulty, for us as religious, is the very continuousness, the duration of this renunciation. In an orchestra, the musicians return to themselves, as it were, once the piece is finished. The soldier, who in battle is but one small unit bound to a role sometimes very hard, and much more thankless since he knows absolutely nothing, of plan or strategy, recovers all his liberty of action at the end of the fray. For us, our whole life is pledged. We must consent to a complete abandonment to the direction given to us. We must accept this apparent inactivity, this oblivion, passivity, disappearance. Will we have the courage to renounce ourselves to this point? If we do not, our Lord will entrust us with nothing. Men perhaps will entrust us with something, but not God, because the orchestra leader is God, and likewise it is God who alone knows how to play well the instrument which he gives each one of us. It is he who has written the part, he alone who knows how to handle the instrument, how pliant, how supple we should be in his hand. Into thy hands, O Lord, I commend my spirit. How necessary that the instrument be in the hands of God rather than in our own. Take me, Lord, and I shall live. The common life. Let us think of the splendor of the whole, not stopping at the difficulty. Let us execute our part, whatever it may be, faithfully, joyfully. The Lord loveth a cheerful giver in such a manner as to delight the ears of God. It is he who has composed the program of the great concert of creation. The duty of every creature is to conform to it. Again, that was an excerpt from The Living Water.